If I dance lightly and let it scratch me, I get all of the goodness of the poison without dying. But it is in itself a dangerous proposition to dance in the streets when a killer is on the loose. Hello, lovelies, and welcome to Squeaky's Cauldron. I am your host, Sarah Evergreen. Thank you for being here today. I am coming at you with something a little bit out of the ordinary, but I feel very moved to offer this to you. So I have just a quick update. I've been sick with COVID for the last week, and I've been moving around. I'm in Albuquerque now, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that sometimes the whole house sitting thing can be quite stressful and take a lot of energy, and that's certainly been the case, wrapped up with COVID, of course, making it that much more awesome. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know why I've been kind of out of the sphere for a while, and coming at you today with some stuff that came through for me during the eclipse and the full moon in Scorpio, and honestly has been like kind of bubbling up since before then as well. What I want to bring to you today is something that I'm toying with calling the candy poison path or something along those lines. So, a little story time. When I got to Silver City, which is the city that I had been aiming at for probably about 2 years before I actually managed to get there. When I got there, it's a very small city. I think it's about 10,000 people. And my best friend lives there and has lived there for about 1.5 years. So he knows a lot of the people there. He's got connections. And he introduced me to the town, which is great. Like I said, it's a small town. People know each other. People have these connections with one another, these relationships with one another, and have had for a while, because that's just how the city works. And I met several of his friends. I met the person that he was dating. And I was introduced to the web that inevitably forms within any city, especially a small city. And as I was navigating this web, as I was navigating these new relationships, these pockets of extreme intensity popped up. And I felt myself and watched myself get wrapped right up in the drama that was existent in this city and in these relationships before I'd even shown up, well before I had touched down in a little 8-seat airplane in the Grant County airfield, which is just a tiny building. Anyway, so I got wrapped up in these and kind of just like captured by this energy. And when I witnessed that happen, I witnessed it like right before the, okay, we're going to move this a little bit. Yeah, so right before the new moon. And when the new moon hit, I was like, okay, we're going to like back off of everything now. And I just kind of default mode went into hermit space and didn't talk to anyone and felt exhausted and was like, God, like, what is going on? And I sat and I was thinking about the city, and I was feeling into the energy of the city, and I was like, oh, it's like the city has this like darkness that's just underneath the streets, that's moving like this underneath the streets. And it's got these tendrils on it. And these tendrils have these sticker pointers that come out of them. And on these pointers, there's this poison. And this poison, if you get it, if it wraps around your leg which it had done to me, this is what I felt like, then it's just straight up poison, and it will hurt you, and it can drag you down and completely knock me out, which is what it did. However, in the same space, like I was, the day of the new moon, I was in a coffee shop and I was writing about what I was experiencing, specifically around a particular relationship dynamic that I was like a third party of, because honestly I was a third party of all of these different relationship dynamics that I'd suddenly been involved in. I was writing about one of the people in that dynamic and what I saw in them. And just like that, I had a full-on download for an episode that is recorded and I will release soon, about scapegoats, particularly scapegoats in relationship with reparenting. So I could see that, like, okay, in these spaces, I get wrapped up, I get overwhelmed, it becomes too much, and then I get exhausted, and then I get down for the count, and that's not healthy, and like putting all of my energy into trying to figure out these dynamics for other people, that's not healthy either. But there's something here. I fucking love gossip. I love it so much, and I think that it can be indulged in a way that if I dance lightly and let it scratch me, I get all of the goodness of the poison without dying. But it is in itself a dangerous proposition to dance in the streets when a killer is on the loose. It can be extremely life-giving. Like, I'm not approaching my gossip as I'm trying to make this person into a bad person. I'm just like, oh my God, do you know what happened? Whoa. And so, like, that's juicy for me. That brings me life. And two, there's this other aspect of it where I can get into the nooks and crannies of these relationship dynamics and see, like, that's an interesting thing. That's a thing that people should know about. That's a thing that I want to talk to people about. And if I wasn't actively, like, engaged with those relationships in some way, getting into that material would be a lot harder if it would happen at all. Now, you could argue that I could get material from lots of other places, but, like, the best material comes from our lives and from witnessing our own personal lives and relationship dynamics as well as other people's. So this is where the candy comes in, both with the gossip, yummy, and also with the knowledge that, like, there's something about being engaged with these dynamics that actually fuels me, that gives me something beyond the fun and juice of gossip. It gives me material, it gives me insight, it gives me perspective. And so it's like candy. When you have a little bit of candy, it can be really delicious, and you can have really, like, positive memories of it, and it's great. A little bit of candy. When you take a lot of candy, when you ingest a lot of candy, like, you end up with a bleeding tongue from all the sugar, and your stomach hurts, and maybe you get inflammation in your joints, and a whole host of things starts to happen after the candy's been ingested. It turns into poison. And so it is with this kind of energy that I was seeing move underneath the town. Now, I can allow those tendrils to come up with their little pinchers, their little pokey things on the end. And if I know how to step lightly if I know how to dance in the streets, if I know how to dance in the streets, then those spikes, they only get to scratch me. And I get all of the benefits from engaging with these dynamics, from engaging with that energy that is going underneath everything and wants to, claim more energy, wants to claim me and my energy and anyone else in that town and just people in general. If I dance lightly and let it scratch me, I get all of the goodness of the poison without dying. But it is in itself a dangerous proposition to dance in the streets when a killer is on the loose. To dance on top of this energy and just lightly touch in and know when to move in and know when to move out. Know when to engage and know when to disengage. And to do both with a sense of lightness and freedom and play. And to know that as dramatic as all of this energy might be and all of this drama might be, it's exactly that. It's drama. It's on a stage. We're all just fucking playing. So that's what I leave you with today. In the wake of the eclipse in Scorpio, the lunar eclipse, the full moon in Scorpio, all of this heavy energy, the Pluto in retrograde, the Mercury in retrograde, oh my God! It's a playground, my loves. And to dance with the shadows, not just your own shadows, but the shadows of everyone around you, takes a light step. It takes a perspective of joy and play. So go out and play with the shadows. Don't let them convince you that this is anything other than a fucking playground. And just real quick, lest I forget, my beautiful patrons, thank you to Daniela Rispress, Haysam Ismail, Kim Tripiano, Valerie Phil, and Samantha Oki. Thank you for your support. If you're interested in extended episodes and shoutouts and such, check out the link in my description. Also, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, doing any coaching or working with your shadows, go ahead and check out my coaching link also in the description. I am also offering one-off coaching sessions at this point, which is not listed on my website, but if you are interested, just hit me up and I will let you know the deets. Okay, I love you. Take care of yourselves. And as always, use your voice.